I feel like it was just like a bad decision in the moment. Probably not a good thing that we're like almost halfway through the year and I have not read anything. Hello, welcome to Roussel Reads. I'm Deja, and today we are going to do kind of just a overall reset. As you can see, I already did some cleaning in my kitchen and I did some meal prep, which was very long overdue. I feel like everything the last few months has just been a blur, sadly, just because of a lot of things. Like I've mentioned before that I've had a long reading slump, and I think I should have just DNF'd a few of the books that were kind of putting me in a reading slump, but I just did not. For now, I really just wanted to come on here and just kind of discuss why I feel like I need a reset and just a lot of other things. So, to begin, I've said before that I am in a reading slump, and this reading slump, I feel like it's not that I don't want to read, I'm just finding it hard to find books that I enjoy and just enjoy reading again. And I don't think that is necessarily the books that I'm picking up. I think that a lot of the books have actually been like objectively like decent books, but like I feel like I'm in the mood for something so specific, but I don't know what that is. And I can guess all day, but then once I pick up those books, then I just not invested in them. So I've been struggling just finding the joy in reading. So in place of that, I have been doing a lot of writing. But what I've been thinking about a lot in the midst of like my reading slump and everything is just where do I go with this channel? And don't get me wrong, like I don't want to leave BookTube, and it's not necessarily like the views or anything that's like really like making me think about like where I want to go with this channel, but like I do want to be a writer, and I think the last few months, especially, like the only joy that I have been like finding in a lot of just literature and stuff lately has just been writing my own story and talking to like my writer friends and actually even like just engaging in the book community a little bit just with certain people of course but like there's been a lot of discussions about how authors really shouldn't be leaving reviews and stuff on other authors' works and stuff. And with this channel, I am basically a booktuber. Like, I don't really talk about my reading a lot on this channel. I do that more so on like my newsletter or like just other places on the internet under like my pen name and stuff. But like my pen name or anything, like it's not hidden. Like I don't really care to hide it, but like with all that discussion of authors shouldn't be like reviewing other authors' books, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm also like, this is a booktube channel and I don't want to change it to an author-tube channel. Like, I don't really engage with that content. There's a select few that I watch, but like, overall, like, I don't usually care about people's writing processes, which may be a little controversial, I guess, but I just usually don't care to like like watch writing vlogs and stuff, but I do love watching booktube channels and like engaging with like the books and stuff like that. So just trying to like think about that in terms of like me being an author but also a booktuber. And I don't necessarily think that I'm like super harsh and I don't really do any like controversial videos. I don't think like I don't really engage in the book drama. Like I really just like talking about the books that I read, what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And I do some blogs here and there and resets, but like I don't really engage with like the bookish drama, and I don't really talk bad about like the authors or anything, but like I don't know. With the world lacking a lot of nuance and critical thinking, I'm not sure how that's going to impact this channel. And yeah, it is one thing that I've been thinking about that I just wanted to make everybody aware of, which I know there's a lot of booktubers that do become authors, but as far as I know, like they don't really post content anymore. There's really only one booktuber that I know that is an author that still posts a lot of booktube content, but again, like they don't really talk about their books like that or really like their writing unless they really have an update, which I'm thinking maybe that is the route that I'll take because like I still want this to be a booktube channel. And if people want any writing updates or anything like that, like there's other places that they can follow me for that. But like this channel, I do want it to be a booktube channel. But I was even just watching um Beautifully Bookish Bethany, who's going to be working in the publishing industry, and she said that she's not going to be saying any like negative reviews or stuff like that. And that's because she's going to be in the industry. And being an author is in the industry. So like I've been thinking about it again about like do I say the books that I did not like or that I just thought were just kind of mid for me? And part of me is saying yes, but also another part of me is like, is it really that unprofessional to like review books that you didn't necessarily like? And I'm usually pretty good about DNFing books that I don't like. So maybe it's just I don't talk about the books that I DNF and it's just everything that's over 3 stars. But I'm also very much like a core value of mine is honesty. And I feel like by omitting the books that I did not like, I also would not be having a lot of content because there's just a lot of books that I just don't like. Like, they're just not for me. And I even played around with the idea of bringing writing vlogs back. But, like, honestly, I don't think that's what a lot of people are here for on my channel. Like, I like prioritizing black speculative stuff. And sometimes there's romance in there, sometimes there's like thriller. But the point of this channel that I really wanted to create it for and that I was encouraged to really create it for on a live stream by Brie and Brandy Shanae like a few years ago at this point. But like it was just to talk about books by black authors that a lot of people don't hear about and just to spotlight those books. And I feel like especially in the booktube space, like there are some of us that are doing that, but it's very few and far between to hear people talking about books by black authors, period, but definitely underrepresented books by black authors, especially in the sci-fi, fantasy, some horror space. There's not a lot of us actually doing it. I can think of maybe like 2 or 3 other people that are actually doing that, and I just I don't want to let that go. Like I know I don't necessarily have to be that person that does all of it, but like I'm also very much like I'm going to be an author one day and I don't want to give up this channel to just be like writing related and all of that. And I don't necessarily want it to just be all positive content because honestly, I don't think that's really me. Like, I'm not a negative person per se, but I'm also not, oh, this was all great and like lying about it just because they're a black author or just because I'm an author. And I don't know, it's just things I'm thinking about and part of what I've been thinking about for this reset because I feel like that's been kind of my struggle with like trying to post content because like I have not been reading as much since I've been writing a lot more. And since this is a booktube channel, I'm just like, what do I post then? Like, what do I discuss? And I think that's also partly why I've been very inconsistent on this channel, not just because of the reading slump, not just because of the like work things. Like, I think these conversations, especially as I am prioritizing a lot more of my writing and potentially becoming an author in the next few years, what do I do with this channel? Is it still professional of me to have a booktube channel where I'm talking about all the books I read, regardless of if it's lower or above a 3 star rating. That is just one of the things on the top of my mind. I don't really have an answer right now as to what I'm going to do. And I feel like I still have months to think about it, maybe even years at this point, because yeah, my writing is taking forever, which trying to be slow and patient, but like it's taking forever. Yeah, just something that I'm thinking about. Another thing that I'm going to be resetting for is me going on vacation. And I'm going to be going on an international trip, which is wild for me to say because yeah, I haven't been on an international trip before, at least not that I can remember. I don't think I'm going to a vlog or anything that experience just because I feel like I just need like a clean break from everything to just live my life. And I'm excited for that. Of course, there will be pictures, but like, I'm just, I think I just want to chill in that vacation and just actually treat it as a vacation and not something to just share. So I'm resetting for that. And yeah, I'm excited to go. I'm excited to see like what I'm thinking about over the next few days as I'm like resetting for everything. I'm sorry this was a very long intro, but I'm happy to have you join me on this little video and I will catch you guys in the next clip. It is a new day and I thought that I would spend this morning just kind of doing like the typical monthly reset things that I do. So adding the books that I have purchased for the month to my spreadsheet and then also just going through and like marking off on my arc TBR like what I have read. And then I think I'm potentially going to create a TBR. Now, I don't expect myself to really do much reading for the month of May because I'm going to be gone a lot of the time, but I think that the trip that I'm going on, there's going to be a lot of downtime, so I might get through maybe a few novellas on my Kindle because I'm really only planning to bring my Kindle. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to make a potential TBR and we'll just see how it goes from there. In terms of the books that I purchased, I don't really purchase a lot of books, but there were a few books that I did buy. So the first one was Stolen Ice Bride. The author was giving this one away for free, and I thought that I would try it, especially because I don't see a lot of Black people in like wintry setting books, and so I wanted to try this one. Even though I still have a lot of Angela J. Ford books that I have not read yet, might actually make that like a vlog because I think at this point I have like 4 or 5 books by her and I have not read a single one of them. So I might do like an author taste test for this author and maybe for like a few other authors that I have quite a few books from that I have not read yet. The second one that I have for the last month was A Run of Shadows by L.D. Lewis. I wanted to get a copy of this because I really did love this like so much when I read it. It's just a short little novella about an assassin, which I don't know why this like just left such a lasting impact on me, but like I just really love this story. Like I cannot wait until the author has their other books coming out. I think there's 2 other ones coming out this year by LD Lewis, and one is a novella, and the other one is their debut novel. So very excited. I'm probably going to pre-order those whenever they are ready. And the last one I don't actually physically have because I actually pre-ordered it, but I pre-ordered Love Be Damned. This is a debut author, so I've never read anything by them. I usually don't pre order books, especially by authors that I do not know and I don't know if I like their writing. But this one, I figured I would go ahead and pre order. And you might be wondering, like, why this book? And honestly, I can't even really tell you. I feel like it was just like a bad decision in the moment, but a helpful decision maybe because first it's YA, which we all know I'm not really vibing with YA at this moment. And two, like I said, like it's a debut author, so I'm just like I don't know why I decided to pre-order it, but I'm not mad that I did. But I think what's really calling to me about this book is that it just feels so different from a lot of the other YA books that I get the feeling for. Like this one, a lot of the cast, as you can see from the cover, like they actually are majority Black, and she's actually like a fashion designer, which is fascinating. But I think it also has like these like angel demon type of things, and I definitely found my love for that kind of like paranormal creature over the last few years. And I guess the last thing that I will say is that it has like this sisterly like bond. Like she's literally going to go like save her sister. And I don't know, I like a lot of sister relationships, maybe because I have a lot of sisters, but I like the sister relationships represented in books. Like yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot about this book that I'm like really hoping that it really calls to me and that it really it's just like a cute story. I don't expect it to be 5 stars, but like I'm expecting to have a good time. I think the author said it's like That's So Raven a little bit. I guess maybe because of the fashion design elements. I did see that James Deshay, who wrote the book I Feed Her to the Beast, said that it was kind of like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've never watched Buffy, that was before my time, but I know a lot of people really like that show. The only other thing that's like really giving me like pause about this is that all of the comps, they seem to be before the time of actual teenagers, and unfortunately we know that a lot of YA books are not really written for the teens of this generation. So yeah, I'm really gonna have to like see if it's going to be written for the teens of this generation or if it's really just going to be kind of like a nostalgia YA read. But those are the books that I purchased in the month of April. So I'm going to update my spreadsheet and probably do a few other things, make my TBR and stuff. But yeah, just wanted to come on here and share just the books that I hauled, and we'll go ahead and get to it. Okay, it is time for me to wrap up this vlog. I thought that I was going to do a lot more of the traveling reset things, but honestly, I just did those off camera, like just trying on clothes just to figure out like outfits that I want to wear when I'm gone and just making a pile of things that I'm going to put in my suitcase. I still have to do some shopping for it in terms of getting like toiletry things, but I'm just like, I'm not going to do that in this reset. But in terms of what I did do for this video, I do feel like it has felt like a better reset. While it may not seem like I did a lot, like I feel like a lot of the things that I was doing in my notebook, I feel like I have a better idea of what I want to do with this channel. And I know in the beginning I was talking about just how I don't know where this channel is going to go, especially as I am trying to become an author. And I feel like, at least for now, unless in the comments you guys have any ideas of like what I could do, but I think for now, I think what would work best for me is doing bi-weekly vlogs. I feel like it will still help me talk about books, and I feel like it won't put that pressure on myself to finish a book for like a theme vlog before I put it out. Instead, since it's going to just be bi-weekly, I can still talk about the books that I'm reading as I am reading them, and if it carries over to like the next bi-weekly vlog, then that is fine. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with that. And I'm thinking that even though those will mainly be bookish vlogs, I could potentially still like talk about some of like my writing things if I wanted to. I don't foresee that becoming a big part of those vlogs because, like I said, like I don't really want this to become an author tube channel. But I was like, if I have something to say, or if it's like a huge like writing week, then maybe that will be included in those vlogs. But I feel like that would be like the best course of action for now. And I still feel like I'm of the mindset that I am going to be still reviewing books. I was even like thinking back on it, like I don't think it was until like recent years that it's become this thing that authors don't review other authors' books. Like I remember being on Goodreads as a teenager and I followed some of my favorite authors and they would always be reviewing books. Now, some of them wouldn't do under like 3 stars, but others I would see their reviews all the time and it's never been a big thing. And there is something to say about authors being out of reviewer spaces, but for me, that really applies more towards like the books that the authors write themselves. Like, I wouldn't want to engage with a reader that has reviewed my book unless they feel comfortable doing so, and even then I'd want them to like explicitly like tell me that they feel comfortable with me doing that. But authors are still readers. Like, me personally, I want to know what my favorite authors are reading because maybe it'll help me actually pick up books that I actually enjoy. So I think that's my decision for now. I'm very open to what everybody else thinks because at the end of the day, like the people watching my videos, like you are the ones that's going to be impacted by this. So yeah, I'm very open to whatever you all think about it and just any ideas that you have. So, yes. In addition to that, I did like my May monthly reset, and there wasn't really much to really like reset because I actually only read one book in April, and even then, I started that book in March. So, not really much. So, the one book that I read, I got it from the library. It was a print book. Not much to really say about stats. I did update my owned book listing. There is just a box of books that I need to go through to show that I have unhauled, but I'm going to count it as like zero for now. Well, zero for April, really, because that's usually how I count it. But I think in the May reset, we'll see how many of those books I actually took off my bookshelf. And I'm thinking I'll do a dedicated video just like going through all of the books that I did not haul. Like I said, I hauled 3 books, but I actually miscounted because there was another one I forgot to mention, and this was a prequel called Prelude of Insurrection, I think, by J.C. Kang. So I actually ended up hauling 4 books. And this new one, the JC Kang book, was a digital ebook that I got for free. So I ended up spending about $35 for the print books that I bought for the month of April. In terms of my NetGalley ratio, I am at 33%. I didn't expect it to move much because I didn't read much. So like, I'm not surprised by that. I did receive 2 more books. I think one was a middle grade and the other one is an adult novella. Both I'm very excited for. One is from an author that I read when I was a teenager, so happy to see that they are still publishing books. And the other one is another author that I've been meaning to get to for the longest, and I figured I would start with their novella. In terms of the challenges, like I said, I have not read anything, so all of my challenges are pretty much still at 0%. So probably not a good thing that we're like almost halfway through the year and I have not read anything for the Students Readathon, the Black Horror Reading Challenge, and I guess the Reddit Fantasy Bingo just started, but like nothing for that either. So definitely off to a great start. And I did make my May TBR. There is a book club that I'm participating in that reads BIPOC fantasy. I haven't participated in a few months because one, they were reading Rage of Dragons and I did not like that book. And those books are long, so I didn't want to read those. And then second, I was just very busy, so I never got the time to really like participate in any of the things. But the book that they have decided we're going to read for May, June is Wild Seed, and I'm all for reading Octavia Butler. I've been wanting to read like her whole catalog for a while. I have a collection that includes Wild Seed, so I will be reading that in the month of May, probably into June. I also have a few arcs on the TBR that I've been meaning to get to for the longest, but I still want to get to at least one of the arcs that are on this TBR. The other books we'll just see because, like I said, I don't really plan to do much reading while I'm on vacation. And quick side note, shout out to Paperbacks and Planners for making these templates. I never mention them, but I always use her templates for the TBR. They're just so nice and they're just free to use and they're in a Google Drive template that she links on her Instagram and probably in the description of her videos, but they definitely come in clutch when I want to create a TBR. So shout out to Robin. And the last thing that I will do is mention just some upcoming May releases that I am excited about. So the first one is It's You Every Time, and this is one that is already out. I'm pretty sure it came out on Tuesday of this week, but it is a YA contemporary romance, I want to say, but I feel like it has a little bit of speculative elements only because there's kind of like a time travel or a is that movie people say, I think Groundhog Day is what they say, when like that person repeats a day every single like day. And so it kind of has that element to it, which I'm very excited about because there was a book that I really loved as a teen called Before I Fall. But I'm intrigued to try this one because of course it features a black person, and so I'm curious to see how I will get along with this one. And then we have a book coming out on the 13th that I think is called Bokika, something like that. This is one that I saw on Perpetual Pages. The cover looks very like haunting, and I don't really know what this is about, but this one just gives me like spooky like horror vibes, but with like a Latino twist, which I really enjoyed because I really enjoyed what was that one? The author that wrote Vampires of El Norte, not that book, but it was the debut that they had that I cannot remember the name of, but I'll put that on the screen. But I really enjoyed that, and I've been wanting more like horror-ish elements that have like that kind of vibe with Latino influence. So I feel like that's what this book is going to give me. And then a book that I pre-ordered that I mentioned before is Love Be Damned. This one comes out on May 15th, and like I said, I'm very excited just to see like the sisterly element, the angel demon elements, and I'm just hoping that this is a cute, fun story that I can get into. And then an author that I have not read before, but I've been meaning to get into because I feel like I would really enjoy their books is Rachel Gellig, who is releasing The Night and the Moth. This is another one that I don't really know much about, but like I feel like just from the sample of the writing that I've gotten from the One Dark Window, I feel like I'd really enjoy this one. I feel like Rachel Gillig is what I would want in like a fantasy romance ish kind of book. And yeah, so I'm excited to try this one. And the last one is by an author that I don't usually vibe with, but that I'm hoping I really, really like this new book. And that is Tochi Onyebuchi's Harmattan Season. I want to say that even though I have not really enjoyed any of the books that I've read by this author, I'm hoping that because it's adult fiction and it's a little bit longer than the novella that they wrote that was adult fiction, I'm hoping that I enjoy it. Like, I'm willing to try it, especially because I am trying to find a lot more adult black fantasy. But yeah, we will see how this one goes. Like, I've heard good things, but I think the people that I've heard good things from have liked his previous books. So we will see how this one goes. And that one comes out on the 27th of May. I think that'll wrap up everything for this reset. I didn't do everything that I wanted. Probably way too ambitious for just being like a few days of just like resetting and like really sitting with myself and like what I wanted to do. But like, I do still feel more settled and sure about like what I want to do with this channel. I think the bi-weekly vlogs will definitely like help me to just still talk about the books that I'm reading and probably even talk about them more in depth because of recency and me like thinking about these books. But I still want to talk about books. I may still include some of my writing, and I'm still very open to if you guys have any ideas. And there's still going to be like sit down videos that I'm going to be doing. Still going to plan to do like my recent reads and anticipated releases for the next half of the year, which is crazy that it's coming up. But yeah, we are almost there. But I feel better. I feel like after just doing some cleaning, doing some like journaling and planning in my little notebook about like what I'm going to be doing with this channel. I feel like I am starting to get out of my reading slump, especially because I am almost complete with the book that I've been reading for like almost 3 months at this point. So I'm almost done with it. I'm like 78% into it now. I've been mainly skimming it, just trying to get like the main things before I move on to the next one, but I'm happy about that. So then I could just pick up the next books that I've been really anticipating like reading. One of those is definitely A Legend in the Sky. I tried like the first page or something and I really liked it. So I'm excited to do that. I know there's not going to be a video next week, but the following week I do plan to have a video out. Fingers crossed that nothing happens. So that is my plan for now. And then I think in June, we will start with the bi weekly vlog. So I'm excited. I feel more refreshed on where I'm going with this channel. And I hope that you feel that way as well, since you are the ones watching this. But I really thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.